I was watching the news the other day and I saw Judge Janine on there, and she was just talking about the demon craps and things that were going on with President Trump and Kavanaugh. And while she was speaking, I was listening to what she said. And then she says, when she went to mention the Democrats, she said the Democrats, and then she said, or should I say, demon rats. And I'm like, what? Now, I'm the only one that really uses the term demon craps. Okay. I kind of made that up because of what I've seen or what I see the demon craps do. It's more of their actions, not so much of the fact that they're Democrats, but they're demon craps and their histories, right? Now, there's another YouTuber that referred to them as Demorats. Okay, not demon rats, but Demorats. So you'd be surprised at the people that listen to our videos. They may not comment, they may not say anything, but they listen to what we say. And for her to refer to them as demon rats, it surprised me. I've also seen other videos and also articles that refer to this system as demonic and the actions of the demon craps as demonic. So more people are getting it. More and more people are starting to get it. They're starting to get the direction that this country is trying to go. The direction that the demon craps are trying to take this country. And I've said in videos of the past, and I really mean this, and some people are demon craps ignorantly because their mama was Democrats, their father was Democrats. They have a whole generation of demon craps, and they really don't know what the demon craps really stand for, right? So they follow it blindly. But I say, and I will always say, that anyone who supports the Democratic Party are evil. These are some evil people. They're demons themselves. They've taken the mark of the beast, unaware, just because of what you stand for, even if you follow it blindly. But that's not what this video is about. And I know some of y'all was probably thinking to yourself like, well, why is he talking about that? And his title says something totally different. Well, I want to talk about the number of females, feminists, that envy men. They envy men. You hear women say all the time, and I've always heard women say growing up on how men could do things. It's okay for men to be players, or it's okay for men to, or young boys to hang out late at nighttime, but the girls had to be in at a certain time. It was as if the girls were always pampered and restricted just because of the fact that they were girls. And what they failed to realize was that was to protect her, not only physically, but also to protect her reputation, because guys can make certain choices and decisions in life, and it's considered normal. See, because if you call a guy a dog, he's going to be like, hey, man, I'm a dog, right? You got Snoop Dogg, they call himself a dog, right? So you got guys that accept that, and a big deal is not really made. Whereas a woman could do the same thing a guy does, and she's got all of these names. She's a thought, she's a hoe, she's a slut, all of these names, and then she try to, protect her honor saying, I'm not that, but yet you live the life of that, right? And we see now with a lot of the, like Jerry Springers and, where they take paternity tests, paternity court, like where these females go into the courtroom, they tried to play the same game that men play. They tried to be cheaters. They tried to be players. and then they end up getting pregnant and don't know who the father is. And then once they find out that the person that they falsely accuse is not the child's father, after they've been through 5 and 6 paternity tests, then she runs out, cries, falls on the floor crying. I think that a lot of females, a lot of feminists, have some type of a mental issue, a health issue. Because why would you want to fight to play the game that men play? You think you're strong enough to handle the game that men play. You believe that you're equal to men to play the game that men play. But then when you play and you lose, or you lose sense of self, or you end up pregnant with a child that you're not sure who the father is, but yet you put the blame on a man. You're 100%, I've never slept with anybody else, playing the same game that men play. And then it's proven that you lied. You run out crying, falling in the floor. Those are signs of someone with severe mental health issues. Because why would you want to play the game and then cry when you can't find your child's father? It makes no sense to me. So they got feminists out there that want to be able to do what men do. Although women and men are different, we're human, we have some of the same emotions, right? Women are more emotional than men, but then there's men that's more emotional than women. There's women that's stronger than men. And of course, men are naturally stronger than women. But we're not the same, right? And so you got to understand that when you hear females, primarily black females, is always saying that they're strong. I'm a strong black woman. I'm strong. I got this. I got this. I got this. I'm strong. I raised 7 kids by myself with different baby daddies, but I'm strong. I'm a strong black woman. But then they think that when a man displays his strength, then it's like, okay, men now exert their strength. Women want that same strength, and then they envy that strength, and then they criticize the strength that men have. But what you got to realize is that strength is not a masculine trait. The strength that females envy of men, just because men are strong in certain areas, women are also strong in certain areas. Strength is not a masculine trait. So when you see a man just being his natural self, and his natural self is to be strong, so now you feel that you have to be as strong as that man, and you think because that man is strong, he's being over masculine. But strength is not a masculine trait. There's different levels of strength. Women are stronger than men in certain areas, and naturally men are stronger than women in certain areas. Women have a strength that men don't have, and men have strength that women don't have. So why not respect your own level of strength? Why do you have to try to be or have or obtain the strength of men in order to be complete and whole, when you can be complete and whole being who you are? Now, I also want to speak on a lot of these females that envy men to the point where women have an entirely different game than men, although women play the same game as men. And I know that sounds like an oxymoron or a contradiction or what have you. But pay attention to what I'm saying. Take a man that chooses to be a pimp. He's a pimp. He's out there prostituting women. He's selling women, for gain. You have a certain type of female that will criticize that man for pimping women. They would say that he's the lowest of the scum. They would criticize that man. They would hate that man. They desired to see that man dead. But in many cases, it's not because of the fact that they sympathize for the women that makes the choice to submit herself to this pimp, that she chooses or makes the choice of standing on street corners or however she do it to sell herself. She made the choice to be a prostitute. But yet the pimp is looked at as the bad guy by the feminists that resents that man for having a certain strength that she don't have. She's penis envy. She desired to be that man, so there's some type of envy and jealousy going on. So she lashes out against that pimp, that male pimp, and she would come to the prostitute, the woman, in a feminist way. She would come to her with womanhood. You're a woman. You make your own choices. You don't have to put up with the abuse from these men. And they overemphasize men. You don't allow a man to control you. You can be anything that you want to be. You have children. You don't have to listen to a man. Again, overemphasizing man. But then as this female, this prostitute listens to her because she's thinking that she's coming as a woman. And they would refer to her as ladies. Listen, ladies. Ladies, this is for you, ladies. Yes, girls. They refer to them as girls, as ladies. Yeah, girl, I understand because I had a no good man myself. They would start sharing testimonies or even made up testimonies about past relationships that they claim to endure, gaining the trust and favor of this prostitute. But then as time goes on, that same feminist will begin to start manipulating the mind of that weak woman that submitted to her, that was prostituting herself, that had submitted herself to this man. She starts saying, like, you don't need a man. You can do bad all by yourself. Why would you make that money and bring it to a man when you can do that for yourself, girl? You can keep your own money. And then she starts turning the tables, and then she becomes a madam or someone that started an escort business, and she started hiring other girls, like where I'll be your madam, you pay me a certain percentage, the money you make is yours. Well, there's no difference because now you've become a female pimp. You're now acting as the person that you claim to have rescued her from. So now you become the pimp, but yet you're a female and you're making her feel good about being a prostitute and be submissive to a woman than with a man, whereas the same rules apply. Where's my money? Right? So you got females out there that would talk about or criticize pimps or men pimps, but yet they in turn try to pull that prostitute from him using womanhood or women's rights, and then in turn start pimping her herself because she envied that male pimp. She want to be able to have that same type of control that male pimp had because she envies men. That's why you find there's a lot of females that hate men. There's a lot of females don't like to see a woman happy with her man. Whether she's married or she's just got a boyfriend, there's females out there that just don't want you to be happy. They're going to try to find something wrong with that man. And when they can't find anything wrong with that man, then she will start trying to show like she's attracted to him. She started exposing him or herself in ways that the woman can't see because she's blinded, because that's my BBF. That's my best friend right there. Or you call it BFF, whatever they call it, right? So she's showing that's my friend right there. I don't believe she would do that to me. But yet every chance your BFF gets, she would smile at him. And she would do little things to try to draw him in. She'll draw him in, and once he smiled back at her and show interest in her, you have women that would even try to play it to the very end, to the point where he would end up submitting to her, falling into that lust trap that she set. She enticed him. And so now he sleeps with this woman or makes a move on this woman, and then she turns around and goes back to her so-called BFF to show her, see, I told you he was no good for you. So now, while this man and this woman is fighting, and next thing you know, the woman that was happily married or happily in that relationship would start speaking against men. That same spirit possesses her. And then she finds herself in a position where she starts saying, I now have to find me another woman because I don't trust these men. These men are no good. She becomes bitter within her own self. That's if she's not strong enough to handle the fact that her BFF, or whatever you call it, enticed her husband and he fell for it. Or you'll have it to the point where if she don't end up falling into a lesbian relationship, she would end up wanting to go outside of her race. And see, black people got to stop thinking it's always about black and white, right? Because white people are not the cream of the crop. The cream of the crop is within all races. There's good black women and there's bad black females. There's good white women. There's bad white females. There's good Mexican women and there's bad bad Mexican females. And it goes on and on and on, right? So the cream of the crop is not white people. So stop thinking that every time you have to go outside your race, if that's the choice you make, it has to be a white person that you end up with. They are not the cream of the crop. You are the cream of the crop. Right? So feedback, tell me what you think. I'll maybe speak on this in a later video. Until next time. I'm fearless.